Pfizer potential COVID-19 vaccine.
Crazy.
Yeah,
90% effective.
90% effective.
Upon the second dose. Yeah. And they're saying potentially 1.3 billion vaccines by 2021. Probably like mid-year 2021.
1.3 billion?
1.3 billion, that's what they're saying. If it's effective. It has some side effects, some headaches, some fatigue, but
Grows a third arm.
well, that's why.
Look how I can masturbate. 2 hands and it's like I'm on a roller coaster.
But I can't get COVID.
Oh, fuck.
That's why FDA they can't fast track it just yet.
Because of the third hand?
Yeah, they have to wait 2 months before to make sure there's not any extreme side effects or extreme dangers that come along with this vaccine.
So
But
like a phase 2 or something like that.
I was thinking about this too. How crazy is it that Joe Biden, if things go the way the Democratic Party wants them to, Joe Biden gets in the office and right off the rip, he's given an alley-oop and all he has to do is dunk the fucking ball and say, my organization discovered and distributed the cure to COVID-19.
There's already
Seemed a little planned.
There's already a ton of conversation around it. And by the way, like I think everyone knows, like Trump awarded the money, I believe, to Pfizer to come up with this, right? Like it should be in this article, but it's very strange that 2 days after the election is quote unquote decided that this comes to bear. Like almost like
it's planned or something.
Yeah, but listen, you know how I feel about you might not, but everyone knows how I feel about conspiracy theories or just like the idea that there's some puppeteer.
You love them.
Well, I think they're interesting, but I generally am pretty I try to wait
You don't take
for
it as
some
face
sort
value.
of for some sort of proof to come out,
Yeah.
right? But this one feels weird. Like this news couldn't have dropped a week ago.
Why?
Like
Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Because this is because technically, since this was a Trump initiative to work with Pfizer to come up with this pandemic relief.
What if the Pfizer CEO is anti-Trump?
That's what people are saying.
So?
And also, well, I think you say so, and I know what you're getting at, but it brings up a conversation around the responsibility of private organizations and private corporations when it comes to how they can decide the movement forward of an entire nation or of an actual democracy.
There's a lot of people,
and that goes to Twitter as well.
Exactly,
it's a massive.
Who are so strongly anti-Trump, and they own the thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like Twitter. You can
Jack Dorsey.
They can do whatever the fuck they
Trump
want.
can't say anything on Twitter.
That is a private platform. They can do whatever they want.
Like,
Pfizer, if they choose to release that they discovered a strong vaccine for COVID-19 2 days after the election, because maybe the CEO. This is all just
conjecture. Yeah. But also like that's the conversation that's being had right now. Is like. What should be done about that? Like, should there be some sort of
who cares?
Well, it's not. Who cares is not the answer.
Yes, it is.
Who
gives a fuck?
No.
What?
No, what I'm saying is that's not the answer that anyone wants to hear. Who gives a fuck is not the answer. The question I'm asking right now is: should Twitter, should Pfizer, should private organizations who have massive effect over election, or especially Twitter? Let's separate the two. Twitter has gone from being a privately held platform, which was fun and games, to being a propaganda engine that could be used in any way anyone sees fit. Should there be some sort of decision-making around what Twitter is able to or not able to censor? It is a global engine. So on one side, you have people in the United States, and Banks talked about this on Twitter the other day, who are saying, we are a First Amendment nation, free speech at all times. And now that free speech, now that Twitter is the new park where people gather to speak freely.
At a private park.
Maybe so.
Park.
Got it. I hear what you're saying. Maybe so. But they have another problem that they're up against. Even saying that is flawed because Twitter is a global entity. India does not have that level of free speech. Russia and all of these places that Twitter exists in, you can't make these decisions for a private organization that exists globally.
So you want boundaries?
I'm not making any decision here. All I'm saying is that the conversation exists right now to try to figure out if people should be censoring speech on Twitter.
If the speech is disinformation, sure. If Twitter has taken it on their own to become an anti-disinformation distribution platform, I'm on board for that. Sure.
I mean, Instagram's doing that now, right? We're saying it might
Instagram,
be false.
Facebook, Twitter, everyone is doing it.
I don't mind it. You're right. It's a conversation because what if it gets out of hand? right? What if now like CEO Jack Dorsey starts to take things personally and he's deciding whether or not it's true or
There
false?
is no more slippery slope. Like this, a lot of this is pre-written in 1984. Like this is Orwellian shit right here. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no more slippery slope than the fucking censoring of free speech. Like once that starts to happen,
you got thought police. You got thought police.
And listen, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I don't think, because listen, like it goes both ways. Like,
oh Jesus. No, we can't do it.
Pfizer could. He's saying Pfizer could be making more money off of debt, right? And that's the thing. Like you never know who's in bed. We have plenty of evidence to support the idea that government is controlled by private entities right now. We know that. We know it to be true that the government derives most of their campaign dollars, their extracurricular finance from private organizations. And so who did Pfizer get? I'm not saying this. I'm just saying the question that exists. Who was Pfizer paid off by to wait 3 days until after the election had been completed?
I'm saying, I get what you're saying. You're totally right. But before even social media, we had newspapers and we had news stations that did the same exact thing. This is not a new thing. This is
for sure
money talking more than people that don't have money.
Great point.
So
Great point.
This is going to be like this for the rest of our lives. I could build an app and be George Janko and be super like, hey, I don't give a shit. Put it out there. But I could easily get corrupted if a billionaire comes up to me. He's like, hey, by the way, I think that's a little wrong. And then I'm richer, dude. Like shit happens with people. By the way, I'm not saying I'd ever do that.
I'd like to be a little bit more optimistic that there will be some nuanced laws put into effect that address this exact thing, right? Like, come on, this is the age of both information and disinformation. One of those has got to go.
I think
the medium in which the disinformation is spread is so new that there just haven't been laws put into place on what people can say. And by people, I mean organizations, companies, giant brands,
political
or people in
activists.
Charge, like the authorities.
I think Amendment 1 very much relied on the idea that with disinformation and information, the American public must be relied upon to have intelligent thought processes to differentiate between the two. And I've said this many times. No, he's right. I've said this many times over the past, year or so that we've been on this platform. America is not as intelligent collectively as it once was. I thoroughly believe that the intelligence of this nation has been corrupted, has been destroyed in many ways.
You know why? It's because there's too many people with voices.
Maybe, yes.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes, maybe. But what I'm getting at is this. Normally, when the crazy person shows up in the park and stands on the thing and says, Jesus is coming to get those responsible for serving pizzas to underage kids in a lair that exists underneath the pizza place they're running a child kitchen where they cook human flesh. They say, that motherfucker's crazy. Get him out of here. Get him out the park. Now, when that person starts preaching on Twitter, there's enough crazy people on Twitter like him to retweet it to a place where people say, wait, this has 150,000 retweets on it. This must be true.
Bro, I have to read that.
You feel me? That's problematic. That's problematic. And so in an era where truthhood is somewhat defined by the amount of people you can get to engage with your product. And that's what Twitter has been trying to take a stand on. They haven't deleted the tweets. They've just said you can no longer retweet or favorite this, I believe. Or I can't remember which one it was. Or they're trying to control that.
There's also a massive disclaimer that says like, hey, this might not be
wrong.